What up? Hey, hey. Chunk, 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 chunk. For Matt. For Matt. All right, let's get to work, people. Everybody good? Goddamn right. Oh, shit. Wrong link. Hold on here. Let me make sure everybody got the right link. I don't know why I did that. Good. Hey, Tamar, what up, baby? What's going on in Los Angeles? The city of dreams, Hollywood, the hills, and also a place where you can sleep on a tent on the sidewalk and take dumps in the street, where dreams are made. Cali, baby. Man, that was amazing. I love California. My sister's apartment's like $8,000 a month. I'm like walking her dog. I'm like, whoa. There's some white people. They're like good looking, like they're like in their 20s. They're like good looking. I was like, they're just hanging out in this tent, like right next to her building. I was like, shit. In Florida, man, people be running you off with their guns. Hey, man, not on my sidewalk over here. California, wild place, man. You never see that stuff anywhere else. I was like, so I was like chatting with them for a little bit. I was like, you know what would be sick? Like, you guys should do like an OnlyFans, because they were like good looking people. I'm like, well, man, you guys should do like an OnlyFans, like tent life, right? Tent life in the city. Like that'd be hot, man. Throw some feet in there, some tent life stuff. Man, you'd make it so much money right there. That's millions right there. So I was trying to explain to them. You guys probably don't need to, hang out in this tent all day. It was like 85 degrees. I'm like, it's got to be hot in there. You're in the concrete jungle. There's not really any ventilation. Oh, yeah. Like it'd be like tent porn, right? Like who? There's got to be enough sickos around to be into that. So word to the wise, if you're ever in LA and you run into these people in La Brea, they're buddies of mine. I was had a lot of fun with them. I'm like, hold up. You guys have like a $10,000 dog. What's going on here? Man, California's cool. Now, I digress. You guys are distracting me. So first of all, we got a gap up in the market. Again, the market's not been reacting well to these gap ups. Like yesterday, we were on a nice trender for a little bit, and then this FRC kind of news came out a little bit, and we ended up kind of fading off into the close. And now we're gapping right back into this. Earnings have been fairly well received. I was thinking earnings season was going to be a little bit of a bomb because you're right, Tesla took a shitter. And then Netflix took a shitter. And so I was thinking, and all these stocks are up like 300%, 300% up the lows. I was thinking maybe we wouldn't have such a good reaction. But, after Microsoft, right, fandazzled it, now we've got the Meta Nation, right? The Meta Nation, a little bit of Zuckerberg life, right? I mean, this thing is also up 300% off its lows. And, dude, 30 points is like no joke, right? 30 points is no joke. And so, we are getting a change in character in the markets that, I think we're just we just have to roll with it. The issue has been that the gaps on the general market have been getting faded off, often. But, yesterday, like, look, the first hour was choppy. And this is a go-to setup, by the way. For those of you guys, like, big gap days are very, very tricky to trade. But the go-to I've seen a lot of times is like, you'll gap up and then it'll look like it's going to fade. And then you just like bust under the VWAP and like you'll suck in all these shorts. And I'm guilty of this like for years and years and years. You got to cover fucking fast. It'll look like you'll get these big monster cock red candles coming in. You'll suck in the shorts and then like wham, right? The trend starts. And this is like, that is the bread and butter on how to trade a big gap up day in the Qs. I've seen this just like a bajillion times where it's like you grinding because the gap is too big, and then you'll turn it and it'll suck in some shorts, and that it's almost always off the 20 EMA area, never the 9, because it's just not enough pullback. So just something to be just keep in the back of your heads. Now let's get into this. Take a look and see if we got any earnings plays. And man, let's get into this. Atom, right? This is not really our kind of play here, but let me see here. Atom junk. I don't know what that one is. UCAR junk, right? This is a pump and dump. MSOS. Pot Life? Is Pot Life back? Haven't seen one of these in a while. MSN PSI cut pot ETF. I haven't seen any pot stocks move forever. You got a little bit of, I guess a couple of these are moving. Not as much as this MSOS. And what's inside this thing? Let's see. Where PW, okay, so these are like little pot stocks. You see these are like all MFs. Pass. You know what they say. People that smoke pot are typically very smelly people, right? Because they're very smelly people. They're all congregated west of Colorado. That's like seems to be, right? That seems to be like the demarcation. It's like an inverse Mason-Dixon line. Meta. Look, we can add this. I doubt we'll get a play on this, unless it pulls back huge. But something we got to monitor today as just like a little sign of the market. It's very, very hard. Even like, you guys have been in boot camp class. We just started last week, and you're learning like ORB patterns and stuff. Very hard to do ORB pattern on something that's up like 31 points. That's got this big of a float. So we'll monitor this, but I don't know if we're going to be playing this bad boy. Nova. You know what? This Nova had a nice pullback. Now, I don't know why this thing's gapping up 10% again. Let me take a look here. But the big hairy Indian butt of this thing. Oh, it is earnings. You know what? Earnings. You got 84 million share flow. You got room to the 200-day moving average. America, baby, right there. Add that. Let's add Nova. You know what? If Nova starts to go, then maybe we'll get a little bit of, some follow through in some of these. My worry on Nova is this ENPH took a monster dumper into the close. Man, I fucked this thing up, man. I had some like short here, I had some short here, and I kept covering. The damn spread kept getting me, and I kept covering for like minus 50 cents. Bastard, I fucking hate this stuff, but no offense. Now, if this thing loses like 62, like you'll get a day 2 play on this. So just keep an eye on this. Like, if we go green to red on this, maybe that'll put, some of the other solars on the shit list. But this Nova's a little bit of a newer one, in terms of like how fresh it is in the trend. I think we can add this if it's got enough, if it gets some liquidity, add it for now. MCRB, junk. FNGU. So this is like your FANG stocks, right? Your Netflix, Googles, Facebooks. I don't know what the U is for, but whatever. First, Fidelity Nation Information. Hey, you know what? This kind of play usually works. It does 5-6 million shares a day. You've got a range break on this thing. It doesn't have much liquidity in it yet, but it's got like probably the bare minimum. It should come in later in the day because it almost always does 5-10 million shares. That's actually a good type of earnings play right there, because you're taking out some ranges, but also like if you see, this is something that used to be at $200. So you've been rolling over for a good 2 years, and now you've built out a base. Like these are the type of locations where you can like come out of bases for like longer term moves. Let's see if this thing holds like that. It may not be sexy, but that one actually, that's got a chance to work. 11 oncology. What's oncology mean? That's like the butt doctors. Sick. Oh man. I'm counting. Hey man. What is like nice butt elevation butt doctors? Yo, if you like small caps, like this thing has got 15 million shares yesterday. You probably have a chance with the market having multiple kind of gaps up and stuff like that. I do think that at some point, some of these small caps are going to get picked up. Not my particular flavor, but I think we got a chance. So you probably have a chance of something like this. This looks a little wiki for my taste. Hertz, see this? This is another one like adjusted earnings, decline, revenue. If you start to push out of this range here, this probably has a chance. Like the float on this is much lower than it used to be since they re-IPO'd. That ain't so bad. I would add that too for the watch list for potential orbs. Space. I don't see any news on space. Snappy chats. What do you got here? See, this thing is just boosting up right into back into resistance. Like to me, that's like a little bit of a sucker's bet. It can go either way. So I usually stay away from those. I think Ryan and Mara, we want to keep playing. Like the range on this was awesome. Like you pull back at 20 EMA, had a big dollar pop, then you faded off a couple points into the close. You've got room back and forth on this one. Follow the action on Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin has been rounding up the 200-day moving average. It's holding. It dumped up for a hot second yesterday. Now it's rebounded. This has still got a chance. Ethereum's also holding over its 50-day moving average. Watch the price of Bitcoin. It usually will follow it, not to the T, but it comes pretty close. If you notice, like when the ride dumped off like this yesterday, there was, subsequently, right, the BTC was just getting rolled like right at that same spot. So you can like kind of use that. I don't know if it's a trigger per se, because you still want to trade the patterns in the stock, but keep a secondary eye on that. I think Ryan and Mara both got, both have enough range on these things to trade this back and forth. Mentally, I think Mars probably, as long as it holds this kind of 925, 950 zone, is still probably along. But, we'll see what's going on. Damn, MBLY took a shitter today too, huh? Just some other earnings plays that have popped up. Hasbro had earnings out today, right? You can see here, like you're starting to break out of some ranges. So you are starting to see some good. Now, Hasbro's like a little too... There's too much like a retail stock for me, but First Serve, Hasbro. Hey, Domino's Pizza. This is a Michigan company, baby. First of all, it's a Michigan company, but they also got DP right in their title. Who doesn't like a little DP? That's awesome. Domino's Pizza. Pizza. That's this is going to have good range. I haven't been trading these kind of $300, $400 stocks like really well on them just because of the spread. But you do got a little bit of something on that. Cackalack, junk, Haley, junk, Sherwin-Williams. Hey, wouldn't like some paint from Sherwin-Williams. Hog, man, there's no better ticker than Hog, right? Shit. Hey man, you want to come ride on my Hog? Oh man. Yo, so this is also like, this is a bottoming pattern over here too. That's got probably a chance on it. It actually has decent enough range for the most part. I just don't like the location because you got all these MAs on top of it. Take a pass for now. See this eBay? This may work a little bit better. Like you've got a range break over here, right? This is a tech company. You got techs are starting to pick up some steam. You always got good liquidity in this anyways. Yesterday you were doing 8-9 million shares. It doesn't have anything in the pre-market because it just never does. But this is probably something I would add this for now too. Free. Let me see. Mark Chunk. Right. So like these are like, see this kind of names. Like I keep an alert on this. If this breaks through, let's just say 116.75, then you got a chance on this. It may need to congeal just a tad at the open. And then if it kind of pulls through. So like a lot of times what I'll do on some of these is like if they start to approach, right, just start setting alerts on these things so that you don't have to like stare at it. And so if it's not like your primary focus name, just use a series of alerts. You can use conditions even on your watch list, right? So like even, right, you can put your own conditions. And T2000 made some new stuff over here, but you can add in all sorts of conditions on this thing. And I gotta get a little bit of a better tutorial here, but you've always been able to add in scans and stuff into your watch list, but now you can do some different types of filters here. You will play around with this, but you can, theoretically, like you can kind of start building all sorts of stuff. See here down here, like you can start adding values, true, false columns, tag columns, new column groups, and then you can put in must pass all filters, only needs to pass any filter, and then you can start to fine tune your watch list just a little bit more, which I think would be pretty cool. Where the eagles fly. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have Evan from Trade the Risk probably do. I'll have him do a little webinar for us on some of the new features because they do got some cool ones. He's making me some new scans and stuff, and there's some cool stuff that you can do on this. Let's look on the downside, see what we got here, because there are some stocks that are getting nailed here. Like see this PI, Impinji. Yeah, so this is like, right? This is like a big breakdown over here. Now it's down a lot, so like probably needs a little bit of a pop at the open. But like you don't always need a pop at the open. I was thinking about that. This EMPH opened down so much, like right off the bat yesterday. Right, it opened down so much yesterday, and it's still right, like from 182 at ORB on 1 minute chart, 178, and I mean you were down 10 points like in a hot second. So, sometimes like you just got to go to a little bit of a shorter time frame, turn it into like a scalpy McGee. Yeah, I think we can add the MBLY. High hopes for this one. Yo, this one is really shitting the better. And it's an IPO stock, so now its hype is going to be done. We got to add that too. I think that's got a good chance. And I'm going to narrow this list down in a second. The Wolf Nation, right? This is semiconductor. It's been downtrending for a little bit anyways, but you're starting to break out under these levels. These are all candidates for potential ORBs. We'll narrow this down in a hot second. Down, I think this is a downgrade past Crocs. It's hard to short Crocs because it's like, what would half our customers, end up wearing while they walk around to weddings and stuff like that, right? There's nothing better, like in the South, like when you go to a wedding, like half the people got Crocs on. God bless America, man. God bless America. But that's well, shit. You're opening into no man's land. That's going to be a much tougher one. And it's going to have a spread on it. So this is a bank. I would do anything for love. And this is also looking like a short, huh? I'm going to narrow this list down for us in a hot second. Hey, so just a couple like name brand stocks that are having earnings out today that I think we got to watch. Roku's got earnings out, and you've already kind of like started a little bit of a breakdown here. And if you look at like more of an hourly chart, right? Like we've got a spot here, let's just say 55-ish, right? Like that's got a chance on it, right? So let's add this to the list. This is probably you know, this will be top of the list or one of them. Let's see if we kind of bust through. It might take a little bit of time to congeal at the open. But that's got a chance on it, I think. I'm not sure if we got anything else juicy here. DP, Amazon Hearts, Baxter, ICPD, jump, Crouch, jump. And then fall in love. Oh, jump. Love, jump. Man, it's a fucking too many earnings today. All right, so add Roku. Whoa. Add Roku. Hey, keep Google on the list just because it had it. It had its earnings out yesterday. It's in a little bit of a box here, but there was a lot of relative strength on this, relative weakness on this into close yesterday. I think the whole Microsoft thing, like, was good for Microsoft, not good for Google. I think we might get a day 2 play on Microsoft. Let's watch this kind of zone that's sitting here at 295.87. Hey, one thing to think about is, Tesla is also, man, it's getting super stretched. I think 150 is just like, I'm just throwing a shot in the dark. 150, just like a nice, easy round number on this one. And you've got a gap fill here that maybe goes to like 148, 149. So somewhere in that zone, I think you get just a quick, probably relief bounce, because you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I wouldn't count that as really a green day. You got like 9 down days in a row. If we flush down into 150, 149, 148 zone, that is a little bit of a zone of love, then I think we're going to be able to come in hot on that one too, for a long. All right. Yeah, I didn't see any reaction on that one. This one's open on the 200-day moving average. Let me take a look at Grab here. Grab has been acting. Grab does not have very good range. It moves about 12 cents a day, Mr. Weiss. So you don't really. It's not day tradable. Like, if you were doing like longer term trades where you may hold for like 3 or 4 weeks or something, it works. But if you see here, the ATR on this is 12 points, sir. So you just don't, and it's like 1 cent per candle. So it's basically untradeable on a daily basis. Does that make sense? I believe Amazon's earnings are after hours, or no? I think so. After hours. You may get a quick earnings run in this, a pre-earnings run. Watch about this old high. It's about 109 and some change. That's going to be something on the list too. I think I probably like that a little bit better than the Google. And then, hey, on our second 6 windows layouts, I want you to add in Nova, HTZ, First Serve, MBLY, PI, and then watch for day 2 on ENPH. So that'll be our second 6 windows, and our first 6 windows. We'll keep some of these big boys up. I think this Relco at 54s, 54, 55 at some point will be interesting. Good. Let's detach these where they got to go. Couple words to the wise here. 1% gap up days on the Qs are notoriously tricky to trade at the open. Do not get too aggressive at the open. Let things play out. You always get a little bit of a pullback right at the open anyways, and then we'll kind of see what's going on. Watch this FRC for clues too on the banks. It's been getting shredded of recent. It had a light bounce into the close yesterday, but the rumors are going around this thing's going to 0. If this thing starts to get shredded, then we'll have to come in. We'll have to come in on this thing. The borrows on it are hard, but they do got options on it. But you can always just take DPST or something along that end. All right, let's trade well. Let's do what we do, which is the do. You know what I mean? Let's do this, guys.